Welcome, stuffy British bankers, to Geek Salad's Hangout Retro Review from the Geek Salad Podcast. I'm Andy.
And I'm Mike.
And we are talking today about the 1964 Walt Disney Classic, Mary Poppins.
Yes, possibly. It is usually in everyone's top 5 Disney movies ever made.
Right. In terms of live action movies, I would say this is your number 1 or your number 2, depending on when you grew up, because I know a lot of people who really love that first Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
For me, it's either Mary Poppins or 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, but
okay.
That's just me.
All right. But let's also not forget Bedknobs and Broomsticks either, which is essentially Mary Poppins just with Angela Lansbury. And David Tomlinson again.
Yeah, they were trying to recreate the Mary Poppins magic, and it was hard to do without Walt there.
A lot of people love it, though, and Angela Lansbury fights Nazis, so yes. Definitely something that I think is well worth your time.
Oh, I enjoy it quite a lot.
So we are talking about Mary Poppins today, kind of as a compliment to the recently released Mary Poppins Returns, starring Emily Blunt and the genius Lin-Manuel Miranda,
which I have seen and thoroughly enjoyed.
I am seeing it this weekend. My schedule does not allow for fun and larks during the holiday season, so I have this weekend off, which is fantastic.
Wow.
So my wife, our kids, we're gonna take them to the good theater and see Mary Poppins Returns. You know, the theater with the reclining seats and the food brought to your table, and I can drink.
The good, aka expensive.
Believe it or not, it's not that expensive, so it's good. It's worth it.
Compared to the theater I went to out in like Newport Beach, it is very cheap.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we wanted to just take a little time to talk about Mary Poppins. We kind of talked a little bit about it earlier this year. Our podcast, we did a live action Disney discussion where we talked at some length about Mary Poppins. But this is like dedicated solely to the graduate of Hogwarts and her squib.
No, please. She's a Time Lord. Because that carpet bag of hers is absolutely TARDIS technology. You can't deny that.
Absolutely. But it also could be like Hermione's bag as well. She's just fair for it though, instead of where Hermione's just like Accio whatever.
Yeah.
This has got one of, I think, the most stacked 1960s Disney casts ever.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, first of all, you've got Julie Andrews, who won an Oscar for this role.
And it was her first major movie role. I mean, she had bit parts in maybe a couple of small British films, but this was her first starring role.
Right. This is also a triumph for her because it was a little bit of exacting revenge because she originated the role of Eliza Doolittle for My Fair Lady, but she wasn't a bankable enough star for the movie, so they hired Audrey Hepburn to do it.
Did they realize that Audrey Hepburn can't really sing?
Oh, that's what Marnie Nixon is for.
Yes, quite right.
So yeah, exactly. That's funny too about Julie Andrews, that there's a lot of movies that came out around this time that were, she's not a bankable enough star, get somebody else. And I mean, Audrey Hepburn is a lovely Eliza Doolittle, but she's not a singer. Obviously, they brought somebody else in. Lynn Redgrave played Guinevere.
Oh, yes.
And it was Vanessa Redgrave. I'm sorry. Vanessa Redgrave played Guinevere in Camelot, another role that Julie Andrews had originated. So it's you never learn, do you?
Yeah, and apparently Walt saw Julie Andrews playing the role of like Cinderella on stage, and just saw her and was like, "That's my Mary Poppins."
Yep. So you've got her. She is just smashingly wonderful in this movie.
She earned that award.
Yeah, I agree, but I also think too is that there's nothing. I don't think there's a single thing wrong with her performance at all. I mean, there are great performances where you're like, oh, there's one scene that doesn't exist in this movie with Julie Andrews. I think that she's a very good. This is just such a great role to inhabit. And I mean, we're very fortunate that she's still with us. I wish she could sing, but doctor. She just is a national treasure in that case. Yes. Dick Van Dyke is so much fun to watch.
Yeah,
as Bert.
I mean, yeah, you can say what you want about his bad Cockney accent.
Oh, and I will.
He owns that. It's become so much a part of the character that it would sound weird if he sounded any better.
I agree. It's hard to think what would happen if they actually gave him diction lessons before they started filming. He's what's amazing is, and I was very surprised to find this out because every time I watch anything, the phone's out and IMDb's up, and I'm just pulling all this trivia. He wasn't really a dancer.
No,
he was an acrobat and a mime, and it's funny because he kind of learned how to dance doing this movie, and you would never know. He's very fluid. The soft shoe is really good, whereas and this is, if I had to nitpick anything about Julie Andrews' performance, is that you could kind of tell they had her just, if you could look at her mouth, you'd almost maybe see her counting because she wasn't much of a dancer, whereas he is just all over the place.
Yeah, that Step in Time number is just mind-blowingly excellent. I mean, the way he dances with all the other chimney sweeps, it's amazing.
And it's a lot, yes, it's a rousing and lively number, as it's supposed to be. It's your 11 o'clock number.
Yeah.
But yes, it works so well. But like Jolly Holiday with Mary and Supercalifragilistic, he's just so animated, which is great when he's doing the thing with the penguins.
Oh yeah, he like pulls his pants down a little bit and does that that soft shoe on the salt that he tosses out.
Exactly, yeah. And that's fantastic. And I love, this is the thing that Dick Van Dyke just does. Every time he does a lot of these little things, he makes his face like he's surprised that he's doing it. He's like, oh my God.
The thing I love most about Bert is the fact that it's like there is nothing that can get this man down. He's just doing everything. Now, he's probably making like pennies per day.
Yeah.
But he is just so thrilled just to be alive. Nothing can get him down because he just loves being who he is.
Yeah. He's a chimney sweep. He's an artist. He's a one-man band, which is a great little bit to open the movie up with.
Oh yeah.
With him, playing at the gates of the park, and he's doing the one-man band thing. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah. And then he like talks right to the camera and he takes you on a tour of Cherry Tree Lane.
Yep, and where you meet Admiral Boom, seriously, that man is holding the entire neighborhood hostage with his post-traumatic stress syndrome.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
It's like, you gotta wonder what the property value is on Cherry Tree Lane, given that every hour on the hour
a cannon goes off
and shakes pretty much all the stuff off your walls.
Oh, exactly. And everybody is so attuned. I mean, maybe they should be paying him because everybody is just very limber when they're trying to stop.
Oh yeah.
Even their maids are like really just like, oh, I can do a split nose. We can stop the fine china from coming down.
I love Mr. Banks. Like he's just like completely nonchalant. He doesn't even barely notice that it's there, but he still manages to get everything back together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but there's a horrible neighbor. And then you've got the Banks family. You've got
speaking of Mr. Banks, I don't think people give enough credit to Fred Tomlinson's
David Tomlinson.
Is it David or I thought it was Fred?
You know what? I am just gonna pull up. Where'd you go? It's David Tomlinson.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. But yeah, David Tomlinson. His portrayal of Mr. Banks is remarkable. It's so understated, especially like the one of those end scenes where he's walking just silently through this town, heading towards the bank.
Yeah.
That is a powerful performance by him.
He is a very, very good. I agree with you. A very underrated performance, in not only in this movie, just in general with these Disney movies. You need a stodgy Brit. He was your man.
Yep.
But he does a very good job with this because there's very little you see. It's not a very show offy type of role.
No.
The same can be said about Glynis Johns, who plays Mrs. Banks. She's very. It's tough to say if she's dumb or she's just kind of not all there all the time.
I think she's a unique character. I mean, she obviously loves her family and her children, but she's always got to kind of acquiesce to her husband, even as she tries to kind of lessen the strictness of him, shall we say?
Right. But at the same time, I think her involvement with the suffragists is a distraction.
Yeah. That I would say out of all of the songs in the movie, Sister Suffragette it's not a bad song, but it's probably one of my least favorite ones.
Well, it seems out of I wouldn't even say it seems out of place because at the time that the song is sung, it's not out of place at all. It's just that you're not getting into that whimsy and magic until Mary arrives.
Right.
So and then you get the Banks children.
Yes. Michael and
Michael and the other one. You gotta feel bad for that kid. Jane.
Yes, Jane and Michael Banks. Yes.
Yes. They're just your typical precocious Disney children.
Yeah. Jane is still alive, I think.
Jane is Karen Dotrice, who played Jane. Her father was a very big British stage and screen actor, Roy Dotrice. Did you ever see Amadeus?
The movie?
Yes.
I've seen scenes. I've never seen the whole thing all the way through.
He played Mozart's father.
Okay.
It's a very strong supporting role. He also, you don't watch Game of Thrones, but he was also the he was like this guy who was crafting this flammable like dragon fire material that was used. Essentially, you would throw it at ships with a catapult, and it would just burst the entire ship on fire.
So like napalm.
Very similar to napalm. Yes.
He's still alive?
Huh? He just actually recently passed. I think in the last year or two.
Wow.
But yeah, but Karen Dotrice is still alive. Now the child who played Michael, Matthew Garber. So I get IMDb up here so I can get all the information. He actually died in 1977 at the age of 21.
Yeah, he died young.
Sick. I think he was sick. It wasn't like one of the Disney children who just was found dead in a ditch somewhere.
Yeah, that was the guy who was the kid who was in Treasure Island.
Right, Bobby Driscoll.
Yeah.
And
he had a dad's life. You want to be depressed? Just read about him.
Yeah, but there's they're just your typical. It's one of those things. It's hard to say that they're good or bad. These are the roles that they played. They played them well.
Yep.
But it's 1960s. Children got to learn a lesson.
Yeah, I don't think back then they were really all that concerned with the children role. I mean, they were good. They were good for what they were, but they weren't like standouts.
I really feel that it would be like one of those things where Robert Stevenson, the director, is like, just don't shit yourself, and then they would just go out and just do whatever they could.
Yeah, I will say that the children in Mary Poppins Returns are very good.
Good.
They do a fine job.
Well, there are 3 of them now.
Yeah.
So overall it's a really good cast. Now, one thing I was struck with, we watched this movie about a month ago. Partly in preparation because you and I knew we were doing this, and secondly, because of Mary Poppins Returns, and thirdly, because it's on our list of Disney movies to watch before our trip in May. And what struck me about this movie is it's like there is a plot that runs through this movie, but the plot is just there to kind of hang vignettes on. So it works like one of P.L. Travers' books, where it's like the plot gets you to the next chapter of like Mary and Bert go into the painting. Mary and Bert visit crazy Uncle Albert. It's these things, these little interstitials that are joined together by the one all encompassing plot of Mr. Banks does truly love his children.
Well, I mean, in the books, there really is no plot. It's just Mary shows up to take care of the kids and then leaves.
Right.
In fact, even in the books, the father figure is barely present. He gets mentioned in like 2 scenes. That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I honestly, I think there's more to this plot in the movie than you're actually giving it credit. Because it's like even all the songs are like teaching the children lessons, but also kind of steering the kids to, like, Mary Poppins is the master manipulator, right? She's playing these guys like fake, like puppets,
right?
But he's steering the kids in the way that will end up benefiting the father and the family as a whole.
Right. But pretty much what I mean by what I was saying was that it's almost like these things happen, and then Mary denies them completely, and then they just move on to the next thing.
Yeah, plausible deniability.
Into the painting, and we want to rate a horse race. I don't remember doing such a thing.
Yeah, it's
gaslighting these children. It's terrible.
I mean, yeah, I mean, to be minor spoiler, she does the same thing in this one, in the second one.
Oh, okay. Well,
but yeah, it's great because like it's plausible deniability. She can just push it off on the kids, but I think it's still part of her manipulation, just trying to get the kids to speak more with their parents and like get their parents involved in this imagination of theirs.
Yes.
Rather than saying, "Oh yeah, no, I can cause people to go into chalk drawings. It's what I can do."
Right.
No, that's just in their imagination. Why don't you embrace it with them?
Right. Exactly. I mean, overall, though, I mean, every one of those little interstitials is a lot of fun to watch, though. I mean, the centerpiece of the entire movie is the chalk drawing with Lovely Holiday with Mary and Supercalifragilistic. Those 2 pieces there. Anytime they ever show clips from Mary Poppins, those are the clips that they show.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it integrates the animation. These are the clips in the movie that integrate actual 2D hand-drawn animation with the rest of the movie.
Right.
And they do it really well. That was one thing, going back watching this with a 2018, filmmaker's eye, and saying, I got to admit that still looks really good. I'm not looking for I'm looking for the strings and I'm not seeing them,
What's interesting is that, in previous movies, Disney hadn't integrated like animation with live action, but it had always been like kind of live action being in the real world. This is the first time real people went into like an animated setting.
Right.
And it is beautifully done. I mean, it on an HD TV, it doesn't look as crisp and as clean as modern time, obviously.
Even with the DVD, because all I own the 40th anniversary DVD.
Okay, I've got the Blu-ray.
That DVD is, but even with the up conversion on a Blu-ray player, it's just like, yeah, okay, I can see it, but it still looks really good. My children love this movie because it still looks good. It doesn't really show its ass the way a lot of high-end movies around this time did. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang is a very good example of something that doesn't work like Mary Poppins still works.
I still enjoy Chitty Chitty Bang Bang to a certain extent, but I will agree that Mary Poppins works on that level a whole lot better.
It works much better.
Yeah.
This is, and we've said this before, this is the quintessential Disney live action movie.
Yeah, I mean, this was the movie that Disney had spent. If you watch Saving Mr. Banks,
yes,
this was the movie that Disney spent like over 20 years trying to make, and it shows this. He wanted this to be his crown jewel, and it did. It was.
It did. This movie actually garnered her Best Picture nomination.
Something
several. It was actually several Oscar nominations. I think it won for visual effects, song, and Mary and Julie Andrews.
Do you know which song it was that won? Was it
You know
Super?
what? You rattle off another thought about this movie. I'll tell you exactly which Oscars it won.
All right. If you listen to any behind the scenes things, or even listen to some interviews, but with the Sherman brothers or Richard Sherman now, you will know how much Walt loved "Feed the Birds."
Yeah, that was his favorite song that ever appeared in. I think it was one of his favorite songs, period. But it was his favorite song to ever show up in a Walt Disney movie.
Yeah, I actually bought the original Mary Poppins soundtrack fairly recently, and the last track is actually like a 16-minute interview with both the Sherman brothers before, was it Robert died?
I believe so. Robert and Richard.
Yeah. They said that there were times when Walt would just look over and say, play the song. And they knew instantly, and they would go over on the piano and start playing "Feed the Birds," and he would just like stay quiet and just listen to it.
It is a beautiful song. It's honestly, it's truly the best song in the entire movie, and that's the best song in a just incredible amount of great songs.
Yes.
There are so many great classic songs in this movie.
Yeah, obviously Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, which P.L. Travers hated.
Oh, I'm sure she did, because she didn't like. Well, again, going back to Saving Mr. Banks, she didn't like that they were making up words.
Yeah, she didn't like nonsense words.
Just taking a look right now at the actual Oscars here. Okay, so the song, it did win original song. It was Chim Chim Cheree.
Okay, I can see that as well. That's also another fantastic song.
It's very surprising to me that out of all the songs, that's kind of like the third or fourth string.
Although that song, that's basically Bert's theme song, because every time he's on screen, a version of that song starts playing.
Right. And these songs are just beautiful. I mean, the Sherman Brothers, for that era, were just so good. And you vanished, Mike. The Sherman Brothers were so good at this. But I do warn a lot of people who've never seen Mary Poppins before that it's very much a time of this era. Don't expect the same type of musical songs that you get used to now in movie musicals. And you're back.
Sorry about that. My kitty decided to meow and meow and meow until I let him in.
Oh, okay. So you've got your parrot cat there?
Yeah.
Pirate cat?
Yeah. That's what he does.
And just right on your lap, huh?
Yep. He's a lap cat, and this is what he likes.
And she's probably roaming around here somewhere. Yeah, I mean, overall, this is just such a great movie. If you haven't seen, I actually loaned my copy to a coworker who had never seen Mary Poppins.
Wow.
Yeah, Sean. He had never seen Mary Poppins before, and I kind of feel bad, because I think he saw Mary Poppins Returns before he saw Mary Poppins, and he didn't care for it. But I think this is one of those things that it's surprising that people have not seen Mary Poppins, but maybe that's what you need. You need to have that prior knowledge of the character first, because let's be honest, if you've never seen Julie Andrews do this, she does kind of come off as a bit abrasive.
Mm.
You know, she's very full of herself, because that's what she is. She's practically perfect in every way.
Yeah. And she's not there to be the kids' friends. She's there to be their nanny and to kind of fix the family.
Yeah, exactly. And fixing the family, it takes a lot to fix that family. I mean, it's an interesting, the scene with Mr. Banks at the end of the movie, after the whole debacle where there's a run on the bank because the children don't want to give up their tuppence.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Dick Van Dyke as Mr. Banks Sr., Mr. Dawes Sr., sorry.
Yeah.
He does take that money out of his hand. I mean, there's no like Michael didn't hand it over to the kid. Just come.
Right,
Yes.
exactly. Um,
I did not know that was different like until like maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
I was an adult. I was an adult when I found that out. That's only because I paid attention to the credits.
Yeah.
But the scene where Mr. Banks goes back into the bank where they fire him, and just the literal dressing down that they give him, like they pull out his tie and they snap off the carnation and they push their finger through his bowler hat.
Yeah, and just like I said, the scene where he's just walking through the city, it's quiet, there's dark, there's nobody around, and he's walking silently to the strains of "Feed the Birds" playing in the background. It's, I mean, just he knows he's going to be fired, and he's just walking. He's walking as if he hasn't a care in the world, to be honest.
Yeah, and then when he gets home. And it just kind of occurs to him how lucky he is to have his family. That's when I mean it's a fun earned ending to the movie. He realizes that his family, he loves his family, and then once he runs into the guys at the bank flying their kites, and he found out the old man died laughing
because I know a man with a wooden leg named Smith.
And I don't know what the name of his other leg is. We didn't, what? We actually didn't talk about Ed Wynn as Uncle Albert. Again, this is one of those scenes that it plays out well, separate from the movie, as just you want to watch one scene from Mary Poppins. This is the scene, if you're not looking for animation, to show people. It's a gorgeous scene. It's so much fun to watch. Ed Wynn is just, I mean, he's Ed Wynn.
Yeah.
He's King Bandy.
And I mean the whole start of that "I Love to Laugh" song, where they're demonstrating the different types of laughs, and Bert's kind of having fun with it, and Edwin's having fun with it, and Mary just has absolutely no patience for this. She has complete disdain for what's happening.
Well, they're acting like a couple of idiots. That's why. It's just it's a fun thing, and it's one of these movies that does bear multiple repeat viewings.
Yes. If you haven't seen this one for a while, go back and watch it, because it's great, because it definitely has the feel of an old school.
Right.
Old school.
Really just doesn't want to stay on your lap, does she?
No, he does that all the time.
Lisa.
He may come back in a moment. It's hard to judge.
Gotcha.
It has an old school. It feels like the old school Disney musical, because it is the quintessential Disney musical. But there's something earnest and honest about it.
Yes, I agree completely. Now, have you seen this stage musical?
I have not. No.
Okay. Autumn and I went. We saw it in London when it was running there. We saw it prior to our prior to its Broadway run. One of the little girls that Autumn worked with when she did Secret Garden, and this was, I mean, you're talking close to 15 years now that this has happened. The girl who played Mary in her version of Secret Garden actually got cast as one of the Janes when it came to Broadway.
Wow.
With kids, they do an alternate. So it's not the same kid playing the same role every night. And that was cool. Actually, one of our local theaters out here that Autumn had worked with prior, they just did Mary Poppins.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, my kids were just bewildered by how good it was. So that's gonna mean one thing. I'm gonna have to look for the Mary Poppins meet and greets when we go to Disney.
Epcot, the English Pavilion.
Right. It's just timing that out's a bit of a pain. But then again, I think Epcot's like the one place where we don't actually have many dinner reservations.
Which is odd, considering it's probably the most restaurants per square feet in any of the parks.
Good eating, yes, exactly. It's just we have a game plan, and that involves a 6-year-old boy. So
fair enough. Fair point.
So yes, I mean overall, this is definitely one of my favorite live action Disney movies. I think there are some animated movies I would rank higher than this, only just due to nostalgia.
If I had to go full on favorite Disney movie, that's That's a whole another kettle of fish.
That is a kettle of fish right there.
That's a horse of a different color.
So yeah, that was Mary Poppins. So if you feel that we left something out, you want to disagree with us, you agree with us, you want to add a comment, please comment below. We love to hear what you think about Mary Poppins. Do you love it? Do you watch it repeatedly? Did you like Mary Poppins Returns? Don't forget also, give this video a nice thumbs up and subscribe to Geek Salad. We post new content every week. So we do these hangouts once a week where we review movies, do our top lists. Starting in January, we're going to have a bunch of new movies, which we haven't discussed yet. Oh, we also put the audio for the podcast that Mike and I host, which is Geek Salad, up on this page as well, which you can also check out the straight up audio version of that at geeksalad.podbean.com. You can check us out. We are on the Podbean app. We are on the Stitcher app. We are on the iTunes app. We are in Google Music. We are in Spotify. So plenty of places for us to go. You can also follow us on Twitter at Geek Salad Radio. Email us at geeksaladradio@gmail.com. And follow us on Facebook at Geek Salad Podcast. Right now, I think we still, our most current episode is our Christmas wish book list. So while it's after Christmas, feel free. You might have missed out on that.
Just also, barely after Christmas.
Yes, and then about 2 weeks ago, we posted our Batman Returns Christmas video, because Batman Returns is a Christmas movie. I swear to God, I feel like this is just going to steamroll over the next year, because this is my diehard.
It is. No, it is a Christmas movie.
So anyway, until next time, I'm Andy.
And I'm Mike.
Go forth and be nerdful. We'll talk to you soon.
Chim chim tree.